Welcome to This Week in Guns, the podcast that covers the latest commentary on the firearms industry news, information, and buzz. Brought to you by the Firearms Radio Network. I'm your host, Jake Challen from Gun Guy Radio, and also president of the Firearms Radio Network. And you make this show possible. That's right, you. Simply click through our Amazon affiliate link the next time you're shopping online. A small portion of your sale goes to supporting pro-gun shows like This Week in Guns. Well, we have a great panel again this week. We have Ebbs returning from House of Guns and House of Arms.
House of Arms. Hi, hey, Ebbs. Jake. Thanks for having me back, buddy.
Anytime. And John Patton, the Gun Collective and Patton Media Consulting. Hey, John.
Hi, Jake.
And Josh Cass, Four Guys Guns. Hey, Josh.
Hey, Jake. Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Quick announcement coming up here quickly, September 19th. Be here before you know it. We have the Bullpup Shoot here in Mount Carroll, Illinois, which is outside Chicagoland. Going to be a lot of great guns to shoot there. Bullpups of all shapes and sizes. I think they're going to have some full auto assault rifles. No, not. No.
Actually, yes, that would be the correct term.
Actually, yeah, I guess it would be. I'm so used to, okay.
Military-style assault weapons.
Yep. Hope to see you there. Firearms Radio Network and personalities will be there. So Mount Carroll, Illinois, Google it if you want to see where that is, or go to bullpupshoot.com for more information. And Patriot Patch Company makes this episode possible. You can pre-order the I'm Your Huckleberry patch. And also, the Firearms Radio Network T-shirt pre-order is on patriotpatch.co. Top stories this week: Governor Abbott to order National Guard to carry guns on base. I think that was one of the first ones to break. And then Scott Walker makes Wisconsin the 7th state to OK arms for National Guard. So we've seen several governors in response to the Chattanooga shooting, okay for National Guardsmen to carry, and also some more information out on the Chattanooga shooting. The Navy officer, Marine, reportedly returned fire on the gunman.
You know, I real quick, I want to say something about the governors. It's a damn shame that it took a freaking catastrophe to roll that back, to give those guys the freedom to be armed on base or at a location like that. It's ridiculous.
I think it's more of a posturing move than anything, to be honest, because, I mean, and granted, I don't know, but it sounds like 1 weekend a month and 1 week a year we're going to have those guys safe, and as horrible a joke as that may be, they should be. And it's just, it's posturing because it's like, you know what, if you're not going to do it, we're going to do it ourselves, and that's kind of more of what we need to see, I think, moving forward. And, I mean, it's, if anything, the White House has shown that public opinion can sway. So, I mean, the take the flag down hashtag and all that fun stuff that got around, it sucked that it took that long to do it, but down it went. And if this is the kind of pressure that's needed is for the National Guard to start, maybe it's going to take, you know, everyone to say, you know what, you won't do it, we'll do it, and then maybe it'll change so that actual, you know, full-time military, Army, Navy, Marines, all of them will be able to carry on base again too.
So we also saw an outpouring of civilians showing up to guard recruiting centers across America. So that was kind of neat to see. What do you guys think?
I think it's... Go ahead.
John. I'll
John.
talk. I think it's fantastic. Especially, my favorite has been the combination of guns to see with these type of guys, because we have this impression of, like, you know, the streamlined dress yourself, this gun matches with this gun, and I love seeing guys with, like, an M4 that has no sights and like a Colt Anaconda or something together, matched up, like, you know, 357 and 5.56, and both. It's like the unlikely couple, and then you know, and they're out there like no vest, no safety, anything, just ready to rock. Come through me, I guess. And I don't know. I mean, it's yeah, I think it's cool.
I saw a picture of a guy with an AOW, accidental AOW out there. That was probably my favorite thing. It was a guy with an AR pistol with a vertical foregrip on it. For those of you out there that don't know, that is technically any other weapon under the NFA Act, or the NFA rather, and I think it's pretty hilarious that he went out there publicly, and of course a lot of people just have no idea that that's illegal.
He didn't know, probably not, or that like you would know that an AOW stamp is a $5 stamp compared to SBR, SBS, or a suppressor. So instead of a $200 stamp. But anyway, yeah, he's out there flashing his illegal NFA weapon. Maybe he had a stamp. Maybe he was like, you know what? I don't want to front the $200 for the SBR, but I want this gun to be special. So we're gonna stamp this bad boy. And so he submitted his AOW paperwork. He form forwarded it. And put his $5 in there, and he got it back, and he was proud to go out there and represent, shoot from the hip.
And a year later, he put the grip on. Yeah. So yeah.
I saw something. Go ahead.
So across America, civilians turned out to guard these recruiting centers. Unfortunately, didn't go well for everyone. One civilian guard ordered to leave shopping center after accidentally firing his rifle.
It's terrible. It's cost of doing business, though,
This is what happens when people don't get proper training. You can't just go out there, and I know people are probably going to hate me for even saying, oh, it's my right. Great. If you're going to go and throw yourself as a body in front of a trained person who's not allowed to kill, then get some goddamn proper training timestamp, because if you're going to pull stuff like this and you're going to send a round through the roof of a Walmart, or possibly pop somebody's toe off, or maybe, God forbid, hit yourself, it might be a good time to learn how to properly work a safety, properly chamber around, things like that, so that it doesn't happen. Otherwise, you just make all of us look like a bunch of jackasses. Timestamp.
And also, an man accidentally shoots himself at military recruiting office. I think that was a Marine, I believe.
Are you trolling me right now? Is that what's
Navy
happening?
recruiter did it.
Navy recruiter. There we go.
Are you trolling me? Is that
Do you have to? Do we have to timestamp Jackass? I don't think Jackass needs to be timestamped.
Only if we say it 10 times in a row.
Yeah, jackass, knock it off.
Okay, Navy recruiter is recovering in the hospital after accidentally shooting himself with his personal weapon that he brought to work Friday morning. So he shot himself in the upper thigh.
So this is an actual Navy recruiter. Like, he's wearing his uniform, and he's struggling with his piece.
Well,
I mean, that's.
I mean, a lot of these guys, a lot of military guys, don't shoot a lot of handguns.
Correct. Or any guns. You're going to qualify, and then you're going to go do a job. And that's okay, because that's valuable service. But the impression is that if you wore a uniform, you were a door kicker.
Right.
Right.
And a lot of guys.
I just interviewed an author for Gun Guy Radio that will be releasing this Sunday. He's former military and stuff, and I said something like what kind of guns and stuff did you get exposed to in the military and stuff? He's like, well, actually, the military, they're really not about guns. They're really not about shooting. Most guys in the military don't shoot or are not into guns. So I thought that was interesting. And
now,
go ahead.
No, I want you to go ahead, Jake. You don't talk enough.
Well, there's a reason for that. So not pentagram.
I love how that came right after you said there's a reason.
The devil came out of Jake.
Oh man, the pentagram says recruiting centers will remain unarmed, unguarded, and recruiters are told not to wear uniforms. That's pretty interesting. How do you guys think about that? I mean, the fact that they're literally telling people to not wear their uniforms instead of actually arming them.
Right.
So at what age is it okay to neuter an animal? Because that's basically what's going on right here. It's no. We know some guys got shot, but we're gonna go ahead and just keep the guns. We don't really quite trust you on American soil yet. And by the way, don't look like a recruiter. Just look like a regular dude.
In
That's
a recruiter's office.
Right. You're just neutering them. And let me tell you, if I went to my recruiter's office back when I went in, let me clarify, I never actually joined the military, did take my ASVABs and all that fun stuff, but if I went to that recruiting office and he had his M4 in the corner and he had his Beretta on his hip or whatever they were running at that time, I'd probably be way more apt to be like, you know what, I don't even care what that test says, I'm just going to go ahead and sign the paper, because that looks cool. So they're neutering, and they're also impacting their ability to actually, I think, reach out to people, because they look like they're cowering in their own offices, which I'm sure these guys don't want to do.
But guns are scary.
Ugh, then why are you... Stop.
Let's get Josh fired up tonight.
That's what we need to do.
So Senate bill would undo the gun bans, or gun ban and gun-free zones for military members. So this was introduced this week, so we shall see if that gets any traction.
I'm so entertained by like the knee-jerk legislation that jumps up all the time for anything like this. There's always somebody willing to pioneer this, and this needs to happen, and then it'll get hung up and stuck in committee, and nobody will agree, and then it'll get tabled like till the end of time, and then God forbid, but something like this will happen again, and it's not just this whole issue isn't just about our armed services not being armed. This is gun-free zones. That's what this is. This is target-rich environment for bad people who can get guns, whether it's over the counter or from the back of a truck of another bad guy, right? This and if it's, I don't know. I guess I am dumbfounded at how weak and neutered, to use Josh's term, we're being forced to be. But then when it's something like this, and our military, how are our military not even armed? Well, how is it okay to have other gun-free zones where people are just as vulnerable? And then the same thing happened. There was just this evening there was someone went around shooting people at a movie theater in Louisiana and then killed himself because he was a coward. But another gun-free zone, and it's over and over. It's week after week after week. It's our little mini rant there for you, Jake.
Oh, I appreciate it. Well, it's a knee-jerk society we live in. One thing with the Confederate flag, and all of a sudden, let's make it disappear. Make it disappear. Take it away.
Because it's offensive.
I missed that. What was that about?
The Confederate flag?
I'm joking, dude.
I was gonna say, like, what?
A global network of.
Hold on, before we move on, I want to say something about gun-free zones. I think I can only speak for myself here, but I will tell you that you need to do what you need to do to protect yourself and your family. If a sign on a door is going to stop you from carrying your firearm, perhaps you should think twice. But what?
There's more to that. We tried covering this with Kraut, because there's a provision in there that says if you are a legal concealed carrier or a legal weapon permit, whatever your state is, that you are exempt.
That's a national law.
In the and that's the thing. Now's not the time for us to go hunt it down. But in the National Gun-Free Zone, which is part of a yada yada act, there is a provision in there. So it's like, because remember the article that we did back in my state, back in New Hampshire, over in Dublin or around that area, Dublin or Keene, where a guy was let go because they did a school lockdown, active shooter, because he had his concealed carry gun on him. And he was eventually let go, and that's because they had nothing to do. It was like, oh, he was an honest mistake. Well, they had nothing. He was a legal concealed carry holder in the state of New Hampshire.
I think that's actually pretty interesting. I wasn't aware of that. I think.
Yeah, I'll try and find it while we're screwing around in the background, but it's in there.
On a national level, I think it's extremely important for people to push back, and don't just let them tell you everything that you are and are not allowed to do. A little civil disobedience goes a long way at saving your damn life in potential bad situations. And I'll be honest, would you rather deal with, having a gun in a gun-free zone or being dead?
Found it.
All right.
Gun-Free School Zones Act of 1990. Now, granted, this is off of Wikipedia. There are citations and everything involved, but
That's at schools specifically, it says?
So, Gun-Free School Zones Act of 1990, Provisions 3.1, Exceptions. Section 2, if the individual possessing the firearm is licensed to do so by the state in which the school zone is located or a political subdivision of the state and law of the state, yada, yada, yada. So, you're an exception.
That's interesting.
No, I'm not a lawyer, and again, we didn't know this, and we're gun people. And again, not a lawyer, which almost guarantees that the local PD that does choose to knock you for this is not going to know this either. So take it for what it's worth, talk to local law, find out with chief police. By all means, do your research. Don't just, because some jagaloon on this show said, because it's on Wikipedia, that it's gospel, because it's not. But there it is, pursuant to 18 U.S.C. // line 922 Q2B.
This Week in Guns does not give legal advice or healthcare advice or any other advice. Don't take anything we say as law. Do your own research.
That's
nailed it, Jake.
Not true.
Big disclaimer.
I have no reason to be on the show if everything you just said is true.
A global network of jihadi activists, ISIS, using social media to reach Americans. Now, there's speculation going on right now that the Chattanooga shooter was provoked by ISIS through social media, and there may be others to follow.
I mean, are we really surprised by this? We have to understand that social media is a double-edged sword. It works in every direction. Whether, normally we think of it as a good thing or a gossipy thing, but it is true that everybody in the world has access to it. How can you try and even begin to isolate people like this?
Well, and our enemy's creative, right? I mean, they see our weaknesses and they see our neutered self, too good of a word to avoid, Josh, and they hit areas that we continue to defend with ignorance. And, of course, they're going to look for susceptible and potentially weak-minded individuals who can be won over or overcome with sympathy for their cause. And soon enough, maybe the enemies who represent ISIS in the United States don't have names like Muhammad.
Right.
Texas Roadhouse in Tennessee sets tables for fallen Marines, as does many other restaurants across the nation. I saw Buffalo Wild Wings, and some others did as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's the kind of respect you don't really see that much anymore, and it's good to see it again.
So Americans don't have the right to bear just any arms.
Bear all the arms.
This is a fairly big write-up over on Newsweek. I think I don't know. Was this the cover? This might be the cover of the actual new physical Newsweek.
I don't know. This
magazine
dude's got like an inverted draw on a kilt in a leather holster. I don't know what's going on here.
You had me at kilt.
You should probably pay attention to the article then, Ebbs.
So, yeah. Did anyone do the research for the show this week? I'm just.
No.
It's way less fun when you do that, Jake.
Assuming that we were that unorganized to make an accusation like that on the air is extremely offensive. And regardless of whether or not that is true,
So, anyways, I'll let you guys read while I talk. So, it lays out a few bullet points fairly soon in the article here, talking about simple solutions that common sense compromise will infuriate both sets of extremists in the gun debate, but would place the United States on a saner path. So get ready for this. This would...
Yeah, the bullet already has me pissed.
Yeah. Ban accessories that serve no purpose other than to transform guns into weapons of mass slaughter, such as drums that carry 100 rounds.
Arbitrary numbers! Yay!
Adopt rules that make it harder for criminals and mentally ill to obtain firearms. Outlaw the public display of weapons.
Because that's scary!
Allow the concealed carry of guns using the shall issue standard.
Non-constitutional.
Stop trying to ban scary-looking add-ons that primarily protect the shooter but don't make the gun more dangerous to others.
Muzzle devices or suppressors?
That seems like it's completely off the track of what they were
What does that even mean? Forget a tax on the armor-piercing bullets.
Yeah.
In quotes.
And abandon efforts to outlaw assault weapons, a politically loaded phrase with a mishmash of meanings that pretty much amount to nothing.
So this basically said, I don't like magazines that have 100 rounds or more. I don't want criminals or mentally ill to have guns, and no open carry. Everything else is cool, and everything should be shall issue.
So they try to start off the article, though, as if they're on the side of gun owners and constitutionalists, where they're like, let's just get this straight. In the United States, you have the right to keep and bear arms. And then that the implication that should not be regulated as it is a childish interpretation of the Constitution. Meaning, if we believe that whatever the period that we are living in determines the type of arms that we get to bear, then we are foolish and childlike, and we don't have the right to make our guns look or behave however we want. That's false.
Can we take a second and describe the cover at the top of this article for the people that can't see it? Because it is really just absolutely amazing.
It looks like propaganda, doesn't it?
Well, it looks like they hired some hipster kid to make something cool, and they were so close, so close.
It has a can cannon. It has a can cannon on it.
And a rip round.
It's got a can cannon with an X Products drum. It's got a pre-expanded RIP round.
Beta mag.
I would also like to point out the SIG 226 with an extended magazine that also has a turned around magazine as a foregrip.
That's a
CZ75, but that's okay.
And that's
on a magazine as a foregrip, though.
Yeah. No, that's how they came. The full auto version, they did that. That is an extremely rare gun here in the U.S. That was in early Call of Duty games. The other thing at the top is a Browning high power with an extended magazine.
And then they have a paper puncher, like a revolver wad cutter rimmed cartridge. Like a wad cutter is for like extreme.
I thought that was a suppressor.
Low velocity. No, I'm fairly certain that's a recessed 38 special wad cutter.
Now that Abs has said that, I can see it.
Yeah, I see
more
it
than
too.
I see suppressor. But the cannon with the X Products drum on it.
They picked some of the goofiest stuff possible to put on the cover. And
it's epic though too.
I mean, this is just classic pandering. Let's be honest. Newsweek is on their ass right now. They have nothing. Nobody reads physical magazines anymore. Nobody. I don't care.
This
the
is like
people that
words of nothing though.
Right, like
no, it still goes. It's like 3,000.
They paid somebody to write this garbage, and then when you click on the website, it's an immediate grab for attention. Please, we're giving away an Apple Watch. Don't click away from the page. This is the acts of a desperate entity.
So are you saying they're the guns and ammo of popular weekly media in the United States?
No, I'm saying they are the toilet paper of popular media.
I like how they. Isn't it interesting though that they're like armor piercing? Man, nobody cares about that, and also that they use quotes around assault weapons as if to say, this is a political phrase. Everyday common people understand that this is ridiculous. Like, so there has to be an attempt, editor, the cover art, all that, whatever. But by the author, it would appear as though, for somebody who doesn't know or doesn't have a background, that they're at least attempting to understand. Would you say that? I mean,
I would say there's forward progress, but I think they're still missing.
Oh yeah, they're not there yet. They're a long way off, but there's some lean towards, this isn't totally stupid.
It's stupid. Every single bullet point on this is stupid.
No, I'm saying it is, but they are, like, in terms of our side, our being guns as a constitutional right, or a right recognized by the Constitution. The Constitution doesn't give us rights; it just is pointing out the rights that we have. Yes, we can defend ourselves in the most effective way possible. Thank you, Mr. Constitution. You are a helpful tool to freedom. But the author is specifically saying here, I'm trying to understand, or...
No, he's not.
Okay, never mind. I don't know.
You said it yourself. It starts out like they're on your side,
yes,
and it's coaxing you in here. So by doing that and using things that we, as the gun community, find stupid, offensive, yada yada, in sentences, in bullet points, that's a method of getting us on their side, making us think that this is a good thing. But it's not.
Well,
it doesn't look like he's trying to learn. It looks like he's being devious.
Well, I'm curious, too, because at the very top, this is an online article, obviously. But I'd be interested in seeing the print version, because at the beginning of the first paragraph, in italics, it says updated. However, it doesn't tell us what's been updated.
No, it does. It does at the very bottom.
Is it at the bottom?
It says, correction, the article originally incorrectly stated that statistics compiled by the Violence Policy Center, which is always correct, always correct, shows that in years Barack Obama has been president, there have been 14 mass shootings involving high-capacity magazines, killing 125 people and wounding 153 more. In fact, there have been 18 mass shootings involving high-capacity magazines, killing 153 people and wounding 137 more.
I have a question. What determines whether something is a mass shooting or a regular shooting?
4 deaths or more.
Is that a serious answer?
Yes, I'm dead serious.
Where does it say that?
Oh, Jesus.
No, seriously, this is a ridiculous thing. It's like high-capacity assault clips.
Well, see, and that's stupid. That's right, the direction I thought you were going, because that's why I call that statistic BS, because they say anything over whatever the hot number is at the time is a high-capacity magazine, when in reality the rifle was designed with an X amount of rounds in the magazine number. That's the number. That's the specs. That's the tech specs. That's the engineers. That's all the science saying, here's how much this weapon is supposed to take. But the moment that nobody likes that number, now it's a high capacity, and we end up with stupid numbers like 10 and 7 and 3. If the Stoner rifle was designed to have a 30-round box magazine, then that is your standard capacity.
I think it's ironic that a gun with interchangeable magazines is considered to have limited, like, people are like, no, it only matters what one magazine has. Like, the gun was designed to fire, over its lifespan, 10 to 20,000, if not more, rounds. Why are we even worried about this kind of stuff? It's such a nitpicky piece of crap thing to argue about on their side. Well, you can't have more than 30 rounds, or 10 rounds, or 7. Yeah, just seriously, logic just does not exist. My brain hurts.
An FBI crime classification report from 2005 identifies an individual as a mass murderer if he kills 4 or more people in a single incident, not including himself.
Oh, not including
a single
himself.
location.
That's interesting.
That's from, ready for this, Mother Jones.
So
Super left.
you could be a murderer of 4 people in different locations. And does that make you a serial killer and not a mass murderer, or can you be both?
It says single incident. And this is, well, it also starts off by saying there is no official set of criteria or definition for a mass shooting according to criminology experts and FBI officials who have spoken with Mother Jones.
So there's
So
no
it's
official
just an arbitrary
definition,
thing.
which means that the media can define what it is themselves
Well,
and do
an
it.
FBI crime classification report from 2005, and that seems to be the benchmark that everyone's been trying to move the bar from.
Interesting.
So yeah, this guy like bounces around both sides of the issues. And
Right.
One
He doesn't-
side of his mouth, he's saying that all states should be shall issue if you're not a person that is a
A
criminal.
prohibited person?
There we go. I'm looking for prohibited person. Then that you should be issued a concealed carry permit. But the other side of his mouth, he's saying, no scary high capacity magazines, and he's also saying no suppressors. Suppressors should only be used by military and law enforcement. There's no reason, regular people. There's no reason outside law enforcement or military anyone needs except to kill people without attracting attention. That's
Whatever.
the only reason you need a suppressor.
It's a muffler. Everyone listening, it's a muffler. It's hearing protection you put on your gun, and it's awesome.
Every other country uses them that allows firearms except us.
You're not allowed to hunt in England without a suppressor of high-powered, meaning centerfire rifles that travel at ridiculous speed. Shotguns, yes, it's okay. In England, you just go to your sports store, wherever you buy your guns, over the counter. Hey, mate, I need a new suppressor. It doesn't matter. That was South African, I think. But
yeah, something.
So, I don't know where I was going because I got laughed at.
The wording alone is really what kind of pisses me off the most, because he spent 3,000 words justifying this bullet list. So you don't need to read any further than the bullet list to know that being accessories that serve no purpose other than cool. So an attachable drum that carries 100 rounds, its purpose is to carry 100 rounds. That's its purpose. No one said let's put thoughts, feelings, and emotions into what this thing does. Rules that make it hard for criminals mentally ill. Yeah, it's called background checks, NICS 4473. We do this all the time. Outlaw public display of weapons. That's interfering with free enterprise. So you want companies to make these rifles, guns, pistols, ammunition for the military, and they're allowed to sell to the public because it's constitutional, but we're not allowed to advertise or showcase that. Cool. So that's also legal. Concealed carry shall issue. Unconstitutional. Scary-looking add-ons, also aesthetics. It really does nothing to make it more killy.
Who defines what is scary-looking, too?
Exactly. See, you can't make laws based on feelings.
I want to talk about something that we don't necessarily bring up every time this comes up. Why can't we have fun in America?
Because we have to protect
God
people
forbid.
from their own stupidity.
God forbid we have fun with firearms. At the end of the day, yeah, there's some serious stuff behind them, but they're fun. Just like, cars with extra horsepower are fun. Why not just have some extra fun? If you want to modify your gun, cool. I don't get it. Why are gun owners not allowed to have fun?
Because it's unsafe. Because we have to be protected from ourselves. You remember the movie I, Robot?
I do.
How that ended, right? The equation or whatever, Vicky, the computer, where our entire government and our entire system of existence is based upon protecting people from stupidity. So the law of natural, what is it? The natural selection is no longer in place because stupid people don't get to die anymore. They get to live and have more stupid people, and then they get elected.
That sounds closer to idiocracy.
And then
they get elected.
Bertrand Russell says, the danger of someone's stupidity is that they are sure of their own intelligence, or something like that. Stupid people don't know they're stupid. You can't tell them they're stupid. And protecting
Ignorance is bliss.
protecting people. For instance, remember the I'm sure you covered this on the show, Jake. The 4th of July guy that shot the firework off of his forehead and it killed him. And then his mom is like, there should be more laws to protect against this sort of thing. Your kid was loaded, and then he put an explosive on his forehead, and then basically murdered himself with stupidity. And I'm so sorry to the family for your loss. But this is the type of thing that we're all talking about, taking away fun. We're talking about taking away things that don't really have a definition. They just apply to our feelings, okay? And
so
this is
I would
where
like
we
to
are.
point out that even if there was a law in place, I'm pretty sure that a law or a warning label or some other kind of nonsense that woman could have come up with would not have stopped her stupid son who thought it was a good idea to put a firework on his forehead.
Well, then comes the regulation of what we're allowed to buy in terms of fireworks. It's not, it's illegal to...
Yeah, this is
cause
illegal
yourself
because
bodily
you
harm with
might
it.
put it on your head if you're a
Right.
complete moron.
Right. This is an explosive. Each individual Black Cat firework has a warning label inked onto the side. The individual tiny little firecrackers, even the big ones, they all do, and nobody reads them. No one looks at them because fireworks go boom, and that's all we need to know, right? I know it's intended to blow up. I'm not going to swallow it after I light it.
Even the waterproof ones, you're not going to swallow those?
No,
I got a 30 a natty light that says I can.
My buddy. I'll take it.
I'll bring the slow-mo camera.
My buddy, growing up, my buddy Tim Parsons in Hannibal, Missouri, his grandparents had a fireworks stand. Okay.
So we can go find him now.
We would go visit every few weeks during the summer, and his dad would do construction work up there in the area, and they would have like a mess of fireworks waiting for us. And we did stupid stuff. Like, I should be missing limbs, okay? But I'm not. And we didn't. And here we are today. Well, I don't know where Tim is today. I hope he's doing well. He was a little strange, so he might not have made it. But regardless, we were like 10 years old using this stuff and managed not to die, okay? More laws don't prevent people from harming themselves. They just help keep stupid people alive longer.
Just EMP the place. I'll be happy.
Where are we
So
at,
the
Jake?
next story is actually a good one.
Oh wait! I got a few paragraphs here I want to read. So he's talking about this great compromise between both sides we have to make, and he says, in this great compromise, that is, all the gun controllers get a ban on high-capacity magazines and other slaughter accessories. Slaughter accessories. Universal background checks and ban on public display of weapons. That brings us to what gun enthusiasts should receive in the bargain.
I didn't realize there was an opening for bargaining here.
Well, I guess so. Let me jump down to the last paragraph. There it is, a series of reasonable proposals with something to hate for everyone, but extremists on both sides will never get what they want. All guns everywhere or no guns everywhere. It is up to the rational middle, the vast majority of Americans, to tell the fanatics that the grown-ups are taking over.
Oh, no, that's so funny. It's like you go into a grocery store and you just scream at the clerk behind the counter and you say, "Give me something that I want because I want it." That's exactly what that is. It's like, hold on a second. We weren't asking you for options here. We know what needs to be done, and here you are pretending like you're somebody to tell us because you're yelling at us. Oh no, we need to be rational. Whose rationale are we using? Get bent.
Who says that?
Get bent.
Get bent, helmet.
All right, this Ruger thing is really good.
Yeah, well, John, why don't you talk about the Ruger precision rifle? I think you brought it up on your show this week, right?
I did, and I'm super pumped about it. It looks like it's going to be Quite possibly a little bit of a, I know I use this term too much, game changer.
Never been done before.
Never been done before. So Ruger has introduced what they're calling their precision rifle. They've taken the action from their American series of rifles and basically slapped it into their version of a chassis. It's kind of an amalgamation between AR parts and precision rifle parts. It utilizes I forget what they called it. It's their like universal magazine system. So it'll take AR-10 PMags, but it will also take Accuracy International magazines as well, which is a big deal for guys that shoot 308, especially bolt actions. This will allow you to do either or, which is fantastic. Go ahead.
Can I just say too, like this is Ruger conceding to the voices of their fans for years, because we've had the Gunsight rifle for forever, and they've released several renditions of it, and we've gone, why just the proprietary mags? Why will only take the accuracy mags?
Right.
Can we please have something that would take M1A mags and DPMS mags, P mags? Please, for the love, you have it. Mossberg did it. The gun isn't as good, but they did it successfully and pretty fluid, I think, in my opinion. And now I'm curious to see, and John, I'm going to just completely let you go back into this. I'm sorry to Shanghai you here, but I'm curious to see if they're going to retro, like if they'll do any Gen 2 stuff to their other magazine-fed bolt guns to see if, or at least the 7.62 models, to see if they will take these other magazines also, and not just proprietary magazines.
It's going to rely heavily on the sales of this gun. So the other really, really interesting things that they've done, it utilizes AR-style forearms, handguards, whatever you want to call them. Happens to ship with a Samson Evo with key mod on it for whatever reason. I don't think anybody needs that on a bolt-action rifle. Has a cold hammer forged barrel, 5-hour rifling, threaded muzzle. It has an AR-style stock, so you can put on like a Magpul PRS or something like that. However, the one it comes with is really interesting. It's adjustable for length of pull and comb height. Super slick. It's got an adjustable trigger. The tool or Allen key or whatever it is for adjusting the trigger actually resides inside the bolt shroud, so it's on the gun at all times, which is freaking awesome. AR-style safety. I think the chamberings they're doing are 308, 6.5 Creedmoor, and 260. I want to say something like that. I'm not positive on that last one, but
243.
243. Okay, so here's the kicker. You get this really nice thing, and it's super slick looking. It's really, really nice, and the MSRP is $13.99, meaning we'll see this on the streets for between $1,200 and $1,300. Okay, this is a quote-unquote precision rifle at $1,200 to $1,300. That is almost unheard of.
And the 5-hour rifling is, in terms of a gun that's supposed to do what this does at this type of value, is one of the most accurate systems that we've seen become more popular in the last 6-7 years, especially.
What I had heard is it actually doesn't gall the brass, or excuse me, gall the jacketing as much, so it doesn't. It basically just lightly touches it as it accelerates through the barrel, which is interesting.
And so, another thing is, you mentioned that about the key mod. You know, do we necessarily need that? I think the idea is that there's going to be some forward attachment type things, specifically related maybe to bipods or things of that nature, or fitting. Like have you seen some of the devices that are key mod or they're M-LOK, and they allow you to attach that M-LOK item directly to like a Manfrotto tripod or something like that?
Yeah.
To have a freestanding rest, basically, so you can shoot from an extremely steady platform standing. Plus, you know, if that's there and that's available, the key mod system itself is also extremely light. Like there's not much real estate to it. So without just, you know, having the barrel free float out there like a Nemesis Arms Vanquish or something, where the barrel's out just past the upper receiver. This provides a little bit of shock protection.
Yeah.
The ability to mount a QD sling or something like that to the.
You know what though? I would have much rather have seen an M-lock system. I mean, it's 2015. You know
well,
what I mean?
If that's where you're
P-mod
going with
sucks.
it, yeah, we don't need to look at shelving on a precision rifle. I get that. I thought you were just saying I don't understand the need for like a quick attachment point system on a rifle like this.
Well, I don't. I would
at the
say
same
go.
time,
If you're going to use one, use M-lock. But here's the thing that they mentioned in their promo video is this stuff is interchangeable. You can take the stock off if you don't like it. You can take the forearm off if you don't like it and put something else on that's compatible with AR-style stuff. The discussion that was brought up that I don't know the answer to was what kind of barrel nut system are they using if that's the case? Because a lot of these rails use a proprietary barrel nut. So are they using AR threads on the front of that receiver?
I think based on the assembly system, the upper is shaped an awful lot like an AR-10. Like the shroud of it itself is going to be pretty similar. So I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, you're minus the gas tube with a system like that. And also, I wanted to say one other thing. You mentioned it was the American rifle system. I believe that it's kind of a love child of an M77, like their popular bolt action, the Mauser-based system, and the American rifle.
Oh, okay.
So it's not just necessarily the American rifle, but the technology from that helps make this a more affordable system. And the trigger itself is, I mean, the idea is entirely borrowed from the Savage Accu trigger, but having fired American rifles extensively, it's extremely effective.
Well,
Josh,
very cool.
what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something in my wheelhouse for getting into more of a precision.
Well,
rifle
isn't it funny too? Like after all the takedown guns, and you're like, oh, okay, well, you understand the upper and the lower of an AR takedown from each other anyway, right? You just gave us something we didn't ask for. Well, then they turn around and release something like this on the tail end of that, which is something that people would completely be asking for.
Yeah, you almost wonder if they don't have different R&D teams working on different things at the same time, and then
I can say for a fact they absolutely do.
Okay.
I think what's also interesting about this is, over the last 3 years or so, we've seen a huge rise in shooters in general, right? So these guys, a lot of people got into guns back in 2012. And those people are now starting to look for more things to do to get more out of their shooting experience. So what we're going to start seeing is an increase in competitions. We saw a huge influx of 3-gun shooters not that long ago, maybe a couple years ago, and 3-gun is really starting to come into its own. The precision rifle stuff is going to do the same thing. I was speaking with a buddy of mine that works at Magnetospeed. They make chronographs. Really cool guy, really nice company. And he was saying that the Precision series is where 3-gun was 5 years ago. And I thought that was a really interesting comparison, that it's starting to grow and it's starting to get attention. I think rifles like this are going to increase that tenfold, because guys are going to want to know what they can do with their rifles,
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think they nailed it with the price point, and they nailed it with the look. I think it's got, the look that a guy walking into a gun store that's not, like you said, fairly new to the marketplace, not real experience, but wants to get into the bigger calibers, longer distance stuff, will be like, yeah, that's the one. That doesn't completely break the bank, and Ruger. It's got the good name behind it, Ruger. Yeah.
Well, and Savage did this a few years ago, or even maybe 5 or 6 years ago, when they first released their BA series rifles, the Savage 110 BA, and you could get it in like an Anschutz style Schutz, like full stock, or you could get a pistol grip with the adjustable butt stock and stuff. But these were internal magazine fed guns. These weren't guns that would take an AR-10 style or DPMS or M1A mag or anything like that, and so their price is actually coming in below where something like the Savage did. So you're right. There's a lot to like about it. It's an interesting concept.
I want one.
Harris failing to keep guns out of dangerous hands. This is Department of Justice. The head of the no. Let me back up. So the California's Department of Justice, they've been doing these. We've talked about this before, where they've been doing these investigation or even raids into taking guns back away from prohibited people who have become prohibitive, since buying the firearms, like they have a stay at like a mental illness facility or something to that effect. And so California DOJ has this running list of these prohibitive people that they think have guns, and on them. They have 3,600 people on this list, and it keeps growing.
How about that gun regulation, huh? That's really working out great.
This is is this related? This is only specifically in California. That's what you were
Right.
talking about, right? Did you? Okay,
Right.
I missed the California part originally, and I was looking at this, and I was like, oh, that's only in California.
And Kamala Harris is the Attorney General, which is what this whole program is overseen by. And she's blaming the delays on loss of staff and the continued strong sales of firearms. Gosh darn it, people are buying guns too quickly.
So how about that background check stopping prohibited persons? Because if people are buying guns, clearly that is the background check system failing miserably, right? I think what's hilarious about this is it's just reinforcement that these regulations are a joke. They're not going to stop anybody. These people, this is what they apparently failed over 18 months. So they did an audit back in 2013, and the auditors made 8 recommendations, right? They failed to implement 7 of those 8 recommendations across 18 months, and they're blaming it on staffing. This is ridiculous.
What does 24 million over 2 years get you for staffing? Because that's what they were given, and the what's 3,600 divided by 600? Because that's what it was. It was 600.
Yeah, what
They're given
exactly?
24 million to clear a 600 backlog, and now they're up to 3,600.
Well,
So can somebody give me $24 million, 600 little things?
So I could fail 6 times harder.
right.
Give me 24 mil to fail 6 times harder.
Well, I mean, that's true of anything in government. You want to fail harder, faster, give them more money. And
Jake, that's not fair.
I'm so sorry, Hubs. I crossed a line. This reminds me of the ATF too. A lot of the reasons they say there was a backlog for, whatever it is, if you're applying for a suppressor or to be an FFL or, any of the forms, there's a backlog, and they're always blaming it on staffing.
You know what's weird? I believe the ATF more than I believe California. I mean, I'm pretty sure that this woman's daily driver could probably fund somebody's entire salary for a year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the staffing thing is a load of bogus.
Yep.
And the fact that she said continued strong firearm sales in California is part of the reason for a backlog of prohibited persons having guns. Hold on a second. You have some of the strictest gun laws in the country, but somehow, some way, you're still allowing prohibited persons to get guns? Please, California, set a great example on how we should, implement gun regulations across the world. Ridiculous.
Speaking of the ATF, there's a new troll account I'm pretty sure it's troll on Instagram called the BATFE, and it's hysterical. So
Thank you for that.
You should go follow this guy. He's only got 70 followers.
I'm popping it up right now.
The.B.A.T.F.E.
Study shows 1 in 20 adults have concealed carry permits. 1 in 20. So the study contends that since 2007, the number of those seeking permits has almost tripled, surging from 4.6 million 8 years ago to, surging to 12.8. So 4.6 to 12.8, all-time high.
Now, if we could get all those people to actually carry guns.
Yeah, that was my biggest question was, okay, 1 in 20, how many of those actually carry the gun that they have a permit to carry every day?
1 in 20 of those. Something like that.
1 in 20 of the 1 in 20, so 1 in 400?
Right. Mm-hmm. I'd put it at about that.
The states with the highest percentage of adult population with active permits, in each case more than 10%, are Alabama, South Dakota, Indiana, Pennsylvania, and Tennessee. That's an interesting spread. Kind of all around the country there.
Doesn't sound like PA's leading the way.
No, it sounds a little Bible belty.
Okay, well.
The lowest percentages, let's talk about that real quick. California, shocking because they don't issue them. New York, again, shocking. Hawaii, we don't talk about Hawaii very much, but they also have atrocious gun laws. New Jersey, there's a shocker, and the District of Columbia.
And it's funny, if this was a couple of years ago, Illinois would be the number one on the least amount.
That's true. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
So
good for you, Jake.
Yeah, well, good for Illinois.
Did you not want to talk about Guns.com's logo and how it's confusing anymore, or were you gonna skip that?
we already covered the Dawn of the Apes logo.
Right. Whatever. Okay, sorry.
Right?
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I'm ready.
Can we move on, Ebs? Are we good? We were to the shootings and outbreaks portion of the show, I believe. Armed suspects tried to force their way into Philly home. Four armed men
look like classy individuals.
Attempt to enter home. Yeah, one has a face mask on. The other guys are like, "Bro, look at my face. Got nothing to hide." So yeah. And then there was a few weeks ago. There was another. We didn't cover it, but it was even freakier. It was in, I believe, Bradenton, Florida, where there was a home invasion. I think it was four armed guys kicked in the door, and it was a family of 7, I believe. I think mom and dad and 5 kids, and mom and dad were both shot and killed in this, and all the bad guys got away. I haven't seen an update to that story. But there was some, I think there was some surveillance video of that as well.
That is not encouraging.
No. So we have a whole slew of shootings and stories here. If you guys want to check out the show notes at thisweekinguns.com/127. Intruder fatally shot after toddler informs dad a robber's here. Now, this one is, occurred in just a, regular neighborhood, nice neighborhood, like most of us probably live in. Kids, it's 6 o'clock, just after dinner or something, and kids are playing in the backyard. Mom and dad are in the house. One of the kids comes in and says, a robber's here, Daddy. He's like, what? And then a masked guy comes in with a handgun and starts swearing, and the wife grabs the phone, dials 911, and the husband must have had a gun fairly close by him because he drew and shot the intruder a single time in the chest, killing him.
Must have been a 45.
I was waiting for the one round to the ground.
mean, what a situation! It's downtime. You know, you get home from work. You're like, finally get to relax, and you know you're completely not expecting anything like that.
Guys, the three of you have children. What do you do if something like that happens in your own home?
If there's somebody that's taller than 4 feet in the house that I don't recognize, they're getting shot.
Nailed it.
I mean, you have no business being in my home, and Colorado supports that kind of behavior, so I'm sorry, man. You shouldn't have wandered in.
Yep.
You know who else supports that behavior? Us.
Yeah, well, I've come around. I've heard noises before in the middle of the night that were 4 feet tall, and we're glad that that's all that it was. But man, I mess with my family. Good grief. There's no excuse for that.
Yep.
Sorry.
Internet date turns deadly before authorities make horrifying discovery in man's car. So a 45-year-old man is dead after he was shot while brutally attacking a woman in her home. Authorities say they have reason to believe the man may be responsible for the disappearance and possibly murders of numerous other women. So the suspect, Neil Falls, 45, he met with the victim on a local dating classifieds website. Anyways, the woman told 911 dispatcher that when she opened the door for him, he said, "Live or die." And shoved her inside.
He might have been a Karate Kid fan.
Then pulled a 9mm pistol from his pocket, pointed it at her. Falls then proceeded to beat the woman before he began to choke her. At some point while he was choking her, Falls set the gun down. It was then that the victim grabbed the gun and shot Falls.
Do you think this photo they have of him is from the internet dating site?
I would guess not.
I don't know.
So after further investigation, authorities made a disturbing discovery in the trunk of Falls' car. They found numerous items, including shovels, sledgehammer, various types of knives, a machete, several axes, a bulletproof vest, handcuffs, boots, trash bags, and bleach.
He just wanted a camping buddy.
And he wanted to be clean. This guy's a psychopath. He's good.
Seriously, this is just absolutely off the charts psycho.
And it's prime example of women needing to watch themselves on these sites.
And do you see the last? Here's the scary part. The last sentence of the article says, quote from Lieutenant Steve Cooper of the Charleston Police Chief of Detectives. He said, "It's just unlikely that this type of crime being committed by a 45-year-old man is his first rodeo." So I wonder.
Yeah, how chilling is that? I mean, could he have been doing this the last 20 years?
Yeah. Catfish much?
There's a great quote from somebody with the username The Wraith in the comments on guns. So it says, she didn't need a gun to save her life. She just needed to urinate on herself to ruin his libido, right? Isn't that the preferred method by liberal gun grabbers?
Yeah, they said that.
That happened in Colorado. That's how
that's what I'm saying.
Got recalled. Yeah.
So he's poking fun at it.
Right. That's why I brought it up. I thought that was ironic and funny.
Isn't it?
Surprised you didn't know that.
I swear to God.
HBO demands Boxer to drop his his animal.
Oh, Jake. So much is becoming so clear right now.
Oh. Hey! Okay, sorry.
Chatta.
Jake, are you okay, buddy?
HBO demands a boxer drop his ammo-branded shorts. Okay, so here's what's happening. The home box office is demanding champion boxer Sergey Kovalev remove the logo of an ammunition company from his shorts before an upcoming title bout this weekend. Those of you who shoot AKs would be familiar with the steel-cased Russian brand Tool Ammo, or Ukrainian. Is it Ukrainian, maybe?
I'm not sure where they get it.
It's Russian.
I'm pretty sure it's Russian. The fight in which Kovalev, the reigning unified WBA, IBF, and WBO light heavyweight champion, is set to defend his title against up-and-coming IBF mandatory challenger Najib Mohammadi, is set for this Saturday and is to be broadcast live on cable and satellite by the network from Vegas. Kovalev is 27-0-1 with 24 knockouts from Russia, and Mohammadi is 37-3 with 23 knockouts from France. My money's on the Russian guy.
Yeah. How ridiculous is this? I mean,
Ironically, it says in the article that Tool Ammo is Texas-based. Kind of awesome.
That might be where their U.S. hub is.
Well, and we know that what's his face has visited Texas several times.
So let's go ahead and talk about there's a great quote here. It says, "It's strange that a media company such as HBO has decided to infringe on the First Amendment rights of the boxer and Tool Ammo by censoring what can be printed on a pair of trunks." Okay, first of all, this is not a First Amendment right issue at all. Your First Amendment rights stop applying when it's not a public forum. You're being paid to fight. That's not First Amendment rights. Let's be honest here. The network is known for sometimes violent programming such as True Detective, The Wire, and The Sopranos, which coincidentally featured a handgun in its logo. I think this is very, very hypocritical of HBO.
I agree 100%. I just watched a guy last season get his teeth whacked across and clacked in surround sound across the tile floor and then get his head smashed with bare hands. Rock on, Tool Ammo. You keep that booty. That's what I say.
Booty logo. Make it happen.
And I just caught up on that season. I would have been very angry if you had mentioned that a couple weeks ago, John.
Spoiler alert.
Did you do the same thing everyone does and go, oh?
Yep.
It was bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. So, any of these other stories you guys want to cover before we move on to the full auto news section?
I said let's roll into full auto.
Yeah, we have so many. It's just insane. Hundreds of stories. Big shout out to our story collectors here, the editors of This Week in Guns. Thank you guys for throwing this together for us.
Yeah, this is overwhelming almost.
It is. We need to do a show every night or something.
I think people would get sick of us.
Yeah, I would get sick of us. Amazon. You can now contribute to the Firearms Radio Network and This Week in Guns by shopping Amazon, our affiliate links. You can rent The Sopranos and see the logo with a gun in it. Go over to firearmsradio.tv/Amazon or check thisweekinguns.com for our Amazon affiliate banners. Full auto news segment, where we talk about real stories the media won't talk about and other crazy stuff. This is where each of us calls a story our own. Ready, set, Abs, what do you have?
Dead LA man who had 1,200 guns. His underwater car identified, believed to be, quote, part alien, secret government worker. Mystery behind a Los Angeles gun fanatic found decomposing in his car last week has deepened as his fiance's family said he was an alien hybrid secretly working for the government. The bizarre statement came Wednesday as a betrothed woman's lawyer identified the dead man as Jeffrey Allen Lash almost 1 week after he was discovered rotting in his car parked on the street in the Tony Pacific Palisades neighborhood. LA police found more than 1,200 guns, that's 1,200 guns, nearly 7 tons of ammunition, bows and arrows, knives, machetes, and $230,000 in cash inside Lash's home last Friday. So except for the part where he was found decomposing in this car, how many of us don't want to be this guy? Okay. 1,200 guns, and he had ammo for the guns. You know, you guys all have friends that have guns. They just collect guns. They keep buying guns, but they have like one box of ammo for each gun. It's the most irritating thing in the world. This was not that guy.
7 tons.
And
Andy was decomposing in his car.
he had like a family of people convinced he was part alien. Like he was hybrid. How is this not a bigger deal? 1,200 guns. I counted up all my guns last week for insurance purposes. Things are getting out of hand, but I don't have 1,200 guns.
Things are getting out of hand.
They are. Mistakes were made.
Which patch is also available on 4guysguns.com store.
The story itself sounds totally crazy, but then how do you explain all this? There's no evidence he was a drug dealer, or he stole these weapons, or had any criminal source of income, no stolen property, all the stuff you'd look for. So they're like, Lash was also believed to be an alien, quote, sent to Earth to protect us, according to Laura Vadbunker, the mother of 39-year-old Don Vadbunker, who used to work for Nebrin. I can't believe this. It's worse than a Twilight Zone movie. He was part alien and part human and was out to save the world? Like this is all these quotes they're getting are by people who completely believe the story. But I'm not as excited about the alien part as I am 1,200 guns, 7 tons of ammo, and $230,000 in cash. What did this guy do?
And he had a fleet of cars, too.
Right. He had a Toyota SUV designed to drive underwater among 14 vehicles registered in his name.
Follow the money. I don't know how he afforded a Toyota SUV that can drive underwater and 1,200 guns.
Josh, are you not more excited about the fact that there is a Toyota SUV that can drive underwater?
My guess is it's probably something with a snorkel.
Oh.
It's just PVC pipe that clips on.
Yeah, they don't get it. They're like, it's got a snorkel clipped to the radio antenna.
But let's be honest here. I wonder if the alien story holds up while he's decomposing in his car.
I mean, look at there's a lot of there's a lot of repeat guns in the pile. Like there's a lot of rifles that are like they have the looks of precision stuff, long range stuff, heavy barreled stuff, good stocks. I mean, this isn't 1,200 Mosins.
Well,
wait a second. You know what?
Many of the guns were new in box too.
So here's the thing. This guy sounds very wealthy. Perhaps this is a little far-fetched. Maybe he's one of those people that's influential enough and paid people enough money to. Maybe he had a gun store or something, and he went around to everybody he knew before he died and said, "Listen, when I die, I need you to tell the authorities that I am an alien."
Yeah,
like that's
you
more believable.
Like Novesk's tombstone says, "Killed by Indians."
Don't you want to believe though this woman who was talking about? I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I can't believe this. It's worse than a Twilight Zone movie. This woman. Okay, Dawn Vadbunker worked for this guy's fiance, and this is a good-looking girl. Like, it's not some crazy Southern woman in a muumuu and hair curlers out talking about the UFO. This has to be real. I already believe it.
Because of the hotness level of the bimbo. That's wrong of me. That's wrong of me. I admit that. I'm sorry.
Call her a bimbo.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Hybrid alien.
This is a long time.
This is my favorite full auto story ever. Your content guys hit a home run this week. I'm so pumped.
So the longtime girlfriend of 17 years then left for Oregon, believing government agencies would come for his body and the items in the house.
Dude, he paid her. Like this is absurd.
But it was executed to glorious proportions.
Like this is so I saw, I think it was Nick Swardson said that he was going to make enough money to pay John Stamos to show up at his funeral. Like, he wouldn't tell anybody, but he would just have John Stamos show up and cry and, like, actually care. And then everybody at the funeral would be like, did he know John Stamos? It's so weird. That's the same thing this guy did.
It really is the best full auto story ever.
I think so. Oh.
All right, John, what do you have?
So I want to talk about this quick little video, the General Dynamics tested an onboard 25 millimeter, get this, equalizer cannon on the new F-35, which is just so cool. For those of you out there that aren't military nerds, this stuff is so far advanced in technology, it is absurd. The F-35 Lightning II, which is set to replace the Harrier jump jet, the F-16, and the A-10. Basically, it's just a quick video of a test fire of the GAU-22A model gun, which is a smaller variant of the GAU-12 that's on the Harrier. Anyway, the gun itself weighs 230 pounds, generates 3,700 pounds of recoil when it's fired, and the quote here is, when fired, it zips out chili dog-sized rounds at a rate of 55 rounds per second. I mean, it has a 220-round magazine, and it only lasts for about 4 seconds. That's it. That's all you get. Just, that's just freedom delivery system.
That is nasty.
And the video is pretty cool. I mean, it's nothing, like, you can't really see a whole lot because the gun is kind of stowed away inside like a flapped area on one of the sides, and it's just fire coming out. But, you know, it's just cool to see the advancements that get made.
What would that be like to be in that cockpit and have those rounds whizzing past, like, your left side or your right side at that kind of rate? Like, just, what is...
Supersonic flock of geese flipping by your windshield.
You know what I've always wanted to do? I've always wanted to be inside an Apache when it sends off a bunch of those small rockets.
This like the Scorpion missiles or whatever they are?
Yeah, I just wanted to see what that would be like. That'd be so cool.
I just like that one of the second comment down is, holy cow, something on the F-35 actually works.
Jerk.
All right, Josh, what do you have?
I have the semi-serious one. Concerted Tribune in defense of Western civilization. No, not that one. Dope. Machete knife cache uncovered in London as bladed weapon crimes rise. So the reason why I chose this one is simply because this is exactly the path that America wants to run down, but if you replace the word knife with gun, it's exactly the path we're heading. And the second to last quote says, carrying a knife leads to using a knife, and there is every chance that the knife you may use could actually be used on you. That's the argument that we hear all the time in the gun industry from the anti-gun people, saying that if we carry a gun, it's most likely going to be used on us, because how dare we? But apparently knifing and stabbing and shanking and box cutting, given the graphics supplied with the actual article, showcases that it is indeed up, and it is up for the first time, I think, up dramatically for the first time in, I think, 4 years, they said, and all the offenders are under the age of 18. So basically stay away from kids in London, because you'll probably get shanked.
Like, just the level of brutality that goes along with that. Isn't the word stabbing one of its, like, the most invasive?
It's a very personal crime.
Yeah, it's like rape.
Hand any sane American a knife and say, stab me, and they will flinch. They will absolutely, what? Like, that doesn't make sense. The violence isn't there innately for us to have, but over there, kids, because they don't have outlets, because they don't have whatever they need to have, kids think this is just a normal thing. Oh, I'm just going to go friggin' shank them. Why not? Watch them bleed out. I saw a guy do it, chop a head off. It was cool. I mean, this is how things get from bad to worse. That's all I had.
Yes. It's good.
Debbie Downer.
No, it's good.
So I'm gonna pick the home intruder that hid under a bed and charged his phones for 3 days.
You would.
So this guy snuck in some dude's house when the guy was taking out the garbage, and I guess he found a cozy spot under a bed, and he stayed there for 3 days while charging, get this, not one, not two, not three, 4 cell phones under his bed.
He had to charge his burners, man.
Yeah. And the mug shot here is, one to remember too.
That dude's kind of creepy. What's his name? Jason Hubbard. Of course, this is in New Jersey.
You know what's creepy? I just found this. I'm gonna put it in here. Remains of Nazi doctor's horror human collection recovered in France. So this guy, he was a captain in the SS, and he was part of the Institute of Forensic Medicine of Strasbourg during the occupation of Eastern France, where he harvested the remains of 86 victims of gas chambers.
Harvested.
Harvested. And he had a collection of corpses which was meant to serve as proof of Nazi racial theory as taught by the Annenberg, I can't even say that, organization.
You're not going to get any help from me on that one.
Yeah. Pretty, disgusting. So, liberated by the Allies in 1944, the bodies preserved in bins filled with distilled alcohol were found in Hertz's lab. They were autopsied and eventually buried in a common grave at a local Jewish cemetery in 1946. But on July 9th, historian Raphael told again, I'm going to skip that name, and he found some of the remains that were still at the Institute. I discovered several body parts, including a jar containing several skin fragments and test tubes. Blah blah blah.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
All right. Why are we talking about this one?
Lift people up.
We blew our wad on the 1200 gun half alien.
Yeah, I see what you did there. Yeah.
Okay, any of these other full auto stories that we have to cover?
I thought it was interesting that the Department of Transportation in Alabama is trying to infringe the Second Amendment. Oh, that was pretty funny. Nobody?
Well, so they're saying you can't have weapons at rest stops, right?
You can't stop an arrest stop, and it's declared no weapons beyond this point, et cetera, et cetera. But it's the DOT.
That's hilarious.
Their job is to tell you how fast you can drive on this road, post a sign about it every so many feet, stop here, big white line. But
right, and probably do a subpar job at maintaining the roads.
Well, it's Alabama. I mean, they don't get any snow or anything like that, so.
So, Illinois, you can't carry at rest stops in Illinois, which is
why
retarded. Well, it was built. I mean, it was part of the carry law.
Most murderers like to go to the sheriff's office and get fingerprinted and hand over all of the information prior to committing a crime. So they want to protect areas where a lot of these types of things happen, aka truck stops or rest areas. And so it prevents any of the new legal concealed carriers from going to those places to commit murder.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. There's so many things that it interferes with. Interstate travel, the money received from the government to do such that, reasonable rest stops, plus the fact that Alabama, and in this case, for instance, it directly contradicts many of their other laws, that they basically are not staying in their lane. Is what it's funny because it's traffic. So the Alabama DOT is not staying in their lane. That's a much sexier title. There's just so many things. It's just like who got all butthurt and decided to write a law at the DOT? That's what it boils down to. Oh, Bob had a bad morning. Anywho, I got all the dumb ones this week. They suck.
If you enjoy Pro Gun Radio like This Week in Guns, head on over to patreon.com/week where you can pledge your support of $1 or $5 per episode, patreon.com/week. And also check out Firearms Radio Network's Patreon at patreon.com/FRN where you can support the network as a whole for as little as $1 per month. And Patriot Patch Company makes this episode possible. Head on over to patriotpatch.co to pre-order the Huckleberry Patch and also the Firearms Radio Network t-shirts. Well, that about wraps things up this week. John, what is going on with the Gun Collective?
Lots is going on. We've got new episodes coming out every Monday in the evenings of TGC News, kind of a much more rapid-fire version of what we do here in video format. Talk a lot about products, talk a lot about what's new and cool in the gun industry, that sort of thing. There's also a lot of really interesting other content in the pipeline. We've got tomorrow, I'm putting up a video. You guys know I love machine guns. We've got a cool little video of a machine gun shoot that we went to. That's going up tomorrow, Friday, if you guys want to check it out for those of you that watch this live. And on top of that, lots of other stuff in the pipeline. Got so many cool things happening. I wish I could talk about them, but the Gun Collective is doing really well. I think we're 6 episodes in, and over 2,000 subscribers on YouTube alone. Also, should probably announce that I'm now on full30.com, which is an all-gun content site. Just the coolest gun content creators out there, with the exception of my 2 pals here that make great content as well. There's a lot of good content on there. It's all very gun-specific. You can learn about older guns. You can learn about protecting yourself. There's some prepping stuff on there. It's really cool. That's at full30.com. Just so much going on. You should definitely follow me on social media. Check out The Gun Collective all over the place, and connect with me there, and you'll see what's going on.
Good to hear. Abs, House of Guns, House of Arms, what's going on?
Well, House of Guns is just kind of treading water right now. I'm trying to keep up with life, which is interesting at the moment. House of Arms is picking up. Business has doubled just in the last couple of weeks from what it was in June. People are getting ready for hunting season. And we started offering full enhanced, we're calling them enhanced trigger jobs on the Thompson Center Encore platform, which means all contact points are polished to a mirror finish, and we're having really good results. If you're into triggers that break like glass and have no creep and a solid back wall, that's kind of what we're doing with those. And just getting ready for the fall, trying to stay busy with that, taking new product photos. And if there's any other old guys out there that like Thompson Center guns, TC is finally shipping their G2 Contenders, new production at the Springfield, Massachusetts site. A few years ago when Smith & Wesson bought Thompson Center Arms, they moved all production and everything, and some of the things have been slow to get ramped up, but they're making more Contenders, and we are getting those in slowly. So check out houseofarms.com, HAUS of arms.com. We're adding new stuff to the store daily. There's also an eBay store, a gun broker store, working with the old man, and he has endless amounts of hustle, so that stuff is going good over there.
Very cool. And Josh, Four Guys Guns, what's up?
Four Guys Guns is getting back on the horse. We just uploaded a new review on the Agency Arms G17 Gen 4. The work we had to that was another fun video. It's a little bit more Colin Noir, which I'm not a huge fan of, but visually it looks very good, and the write-up I'm very happy with. Check that out on 4guysguns.com. Also, we have a new patch that I'll be showing tonight. One of a few that are coming in. It's now, those of you who aren't watching, what do you mean no overlay selected? That one. Do that one. Do that one. That one. Do it. Do it. I just did this, Jake. Now it's not doing it. I had the picture. It's right here. Everyone can see it. Open. And on. Well, I don't get to show you now. That's great.
Gotta love Google.
That's good because
I just did it too. That's what's making me so angry. On. F off. Ooh, it's not doing it.
Well, tune into the after show to see Whitey figure out how to use a computer. Anyways, where can people connect with you guys? Did you say that?
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube, all of them at 4guysguns, all one word spelled out, FOURGUYSGUNS.
Very cool. That wraps us up this week. Leave your feedback by commenting on the bottom of the YouTube video or at thisweekinguns.com/127. Leave us that iTunes review. Subscribe there. Contribute by using our Amazon affiliate link.
Oh, what's up?
All I see is black.
There it is.
Nice.
Now it's so anticlimactic.
Yeah, and all the people listening are like, what the heck?
Whatever.
What's 4GG?
Oh, so you're not a gamer. You wouldn't know. Oh, what do I?
Anyways, thanks for listening. Thank you, Josh.
Pleasure to be here, Jake. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Abs.
You're welcome.
And thank you, John.
No. Thank you, sir.
That's a wrap. We'll see you next week.
Bye.